Tammy here. Back with a tutorial on a SVG cut file box. So this particular box I am going to show you how to make. The SVG files that I used for the box are from, I believe, SVG Cuts, but I'll put a link to the box below. So I'm making 4 of these for Mother's Day, and I made this one last night, so I'm going to just quickly show you guys how to make this box and decorate it, and it shouldn't take that long. Alright, so stay tuned. Okay, so here's all the pieces that I cut out for this particular box. This one I am going to be using this particular paper pad, which is, let me show you, wait for it, this beautiful paper pad collection by Craftsmart. It's called Dark Botanical. This was at Michael's in the Hot Buy section. So I happened to be there when they had the buy one get two free, so this one was hiding, so I found it, but I think I did this as in my haul video so you can see all the different papers. But this is the paper collection I'm using for these Mother's Day boxes, okay? Alright, so this is this particular collection, or this cutout here, is actually from Jennifer, I want to say Maker is her last name, but she has a purse SVG file, and it has this little mom with this little heart that goes in the center here. And I'm using that on this box, even though it doesn't come with it. So you can definitely mix and match your SVG files. You can use different files from other companies and then just add it to your collection. So this is what I did here on this box, is I used this and then adhered everything, put some foam tape on the back, but I'll show you that, and then I just put some stickles on the little heart. So anyway, so that's what that is. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue this down and let it dry. Okay, so I want the smooth side down. So this is some cardstock. It's one of the Hot Buy paper pad cardstock, so it's the purple collection. And I just filled up my glue bottle with glue, so we've got some excess glue over here that we don't need. I'm just going to wipe that off, and then I'm going to cut this out. So both of these pieces come from that other SVG file, and I'll link that one down below too, so if you want to go check it out. Okay, and then I always use my roller just to kind of smooth it out, make sure there's no bumps. Then we are going to take the little heart. I'm actually going to use my little tweezers, and I'm going to put just a little bit of glue on the back. I'm going to put that right in the center, just like that. Okay. And I know there's just so many holidays coming up, and St. Patrick's, you know, I'm Irish, so St. Patrick's Day is one of my favorite holidays, but there aren't a lot of crafters out there that do stuff for that holiday, so I wanted to get a start on my Mother's Day stuff, because I didn't get a start on my Valentine's Day stuff, and I didn't get as much done as I wanted to do. So anyway, alright, so no excuses. We're just going to put that aside, and we're going to let that dry. And I think I'm going to go ahead and put some, no, you know what, I'm going to wait for the stickles till the end. Alright, so we're going to let that dry. Alright, so now your pieces come with this particular box. Is the Octagon heart box. And so the pieces that actually cut out have a heart in it, but I didn't want that because I'm making a Mother's Day box. I wanted it to be solid. So what I did was I cut out I took the bottom piece of the box, which is actually this part here. So this is the top part of the box, and then what I did was I just reduced it to 90% so that I would have this nice little mat on the top of the box. Okay, so what I did, I'm going to go ahead and glue this down, and this is just going to give this top piece that a little bit of sturdiness when we're going to put on the borders. So, and that's the nice thing about, you know, SVG files. I'm learning my machine, and I'm learning how to manipulate sizes, and I have found that just doing the percentage is enough to give it a good border around the edge here. So like you take the top part and you reduce it on your machine to 90%, and I found that it gives a really good mat, and that mat has a nice little border on it. Now I'm not using the same colors that I did for the other box, but that's okay because I love these butterflies. They have like a gold, I can't tell if that's gold or copper foiling to them, but they're really, really pretty. Alright, so here is going to be the border on the lid. So that's going to be this part here. So see, it slides off, and then you've got the bottom. So this is this part here. So we're going to put that together. Now what I did was I took this and I reduced it again to 90% because this particular box does not have mats to go on anything, and I wanted mats on mine. So I reduced this by down to 90% so that I could have a mat on each one of these, but there's a little bit of work that has to be done before you can actually do that. So if you'll notice here, each one of these are cut out so that they fit on one of the scallops. So what I did was I took, don't forget to put your pin in your glue. Okay, so I took my little ruler and my pad and my craft knife, and then all I did was I cut off all the tabs. So from here to here, just cut the tabs off, okay? Then what I did was from this part here to this other part, I'm just going to cut that like that, and I'm going to do that to all of them, and I want to make sure that my pattern is the same. So I'll show you what I mean. Okay, just like that. Now I'm going to turn these over, and I'm going to cut this piece off. So this is actually the part that would fold if you were making the actual lid part. Okay, so we're going to cut those tabs off. So now we have this left over, and that's what we're going to use to mat our lid side, I guess is what you could say. Okay, so we're just going to cut all those off, and I'm keeping these in order again because I want my pattern to be the correct way. Okay. And I'm just lining it up with where the tab part meets this part, the scallop part. So, alright, so we're going to do that again on this one. There. So where it's kind of like meets the corner, that's where you want to cut. Oops. Right. Don't worry if it's not perfect, because honestly these fit on the scallop parts pretty nicely, and I didn't have any issues with there not being a straight, you know, a border. So this mat worked out perfectly. I love it. I love how it looks. And I think it just gives the box an extra bit of elegance, because I think without it, it's not enough. Okay. All right, so we've got those. So now that's all we need to do there. So now we're going to take these and we're actually going to put these on. I'm going to make sure. Let's see, did I have that right? I think it goes like this. Yeah, so those are going to be the mats for that one. So we're just going to glue those down. Making sure that there's a nice little border, about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. It's not perfect, but it's fine. I really like how it adds to the box, so it just felt really plain without something there. Okay. That. All right, I'm going to finish doing this, and then when I come back, we'll go ahead and put the lid part together. Okay, so now we're going to put the lid part together. So I want to fold on all the score lines. Okay, and score on this one. Now there are two ways that you can do this when you're putting your box lid together. So first I want to make this one long strip. Okay. My glue seems kind of watered down. And I did find that this paper is a little slick, so once you get it in place, you have to be careful. So I'm going to hold that for a minute. Now when I did the other box, I actually glued both ends together. And then I realized it might have been easier to actually put the box together if I just did one long piece and then glued this at the end. Okay, so we've got our that part, and then this is going to be our lid. So what we want to do is we want to flip that over, and we're going to start gluing all of these around the edge. All the tabs get glued, and this is an octagon, so it's actually kind of easy to put together. So I just gonna go this way. It's easier for me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna line this up with the actual edge of that particular part of the box, and then I'm just gonna hold that down. Make sure it's flush with the edge of the paper. And honestly, I don't even know if this is easier or harder than the way I did it, but we shall see. I'm just going to use my little bone folder to kind of help hold that down. Now, I did, when I originally did it, I had this already put together. So I think I'm going to, and I'm not worried about the glue showing on the inside because we're going to be covering that with this part here. Okay, that's going to be the inside of the box. So, alright, so I'm flush with the edge there. And this actually might be harder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue this part to the other end, because that's how I did it before, and it was actually it was easier to put this all together. So just gonna put that like that. That together so that it's flush with the other side like that. Alright, and then what I did was I kind of folded all the tabs inward like this, and this was just easier for me. So if you want to do it the other way where it's just a long piece and you go around and that's easier for you, go right ahead. So I'm just going to finish gluing all these tabs on. So I like to make sure that it's flush. With the side, and then I'm just going to press that down and hold that for a minute. Use my little bone folder. And the reason why I'm using the glue is because it's more forgiving. If I was just to stick tape down here, and if I was off a smidge, I wouldn't be able to move it. So, but you do, with this particular paper pad, I don't know why, but it does not dry very fast with the art glitter glue, and this glue usually dries really fast. So I don't think it's the glue, I think it's the actual smoothness of the paper. So, alright, so there's that one. I'm just going to kind of smooth that out. Again, not worried about the glue showing because we're going to cover that up. Alright, and I'm just going to finish gluing the rest of the tabs and then I'll be back. Okay, so now we have the lid together and we just need to put, I think I'm going to, this is going to be the top and this bottom. So I want to make sure that I put this on the inside, going the right way. So that, and I don't think it really matters with the butterfly paper because you can pretty much turn this paper anyway and it looks right. But I did want my flowers going the right way, so I'm just going to put some glue on here. Just like that. Alright, and then I'm just going to lay that inside, and then I'm just going to move it around, make sure that it has the little border around the edge, and then that is the inside of our box. So just going to press that down, get a good adherence of glue and the paper. Around that so it doesn't come off. Okay, and then that way you won't see the tabs, which is kind of cool. So I like that this file came with the inside. Most boxes do, some of them don't, but you can always take the lid measurement, and on this one I would probably go down maybe to 98%, just so you have that slight border, and again it'll fit inside the box. But on this one you don't have to necessarily do that because it's already done for you. Alright, so that is the top of the box, all done. I'll put that aside so we can decorate it here in a minute. And now we are going to put the bottom part of the box together. And I just dropped something, I don't know. Oh, hold on. Okay, so now we're going to put the bottom part. And the bottom part is really easy. You're just going to fold on all the tabs. Again, I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the top part. I'm just going to fold all these, and I didn't put a mat on this part because I want to make sure that the lid fits. Alright, so again we're going to glue these two tabs together. I'm just going to kind of make it sticky and glue those together, making sure that the edges are flush. Okay. And I like this cardstock. It's I'm going to show you. It's the Craftsmart cardstock, and believe it or not, it's pretty sturdy. They don't tell you the pound on it, but I think it might be 120. I'm not sure, but it's the ultraviolet set, so it's got all these different purple collection paper colors, which goes really great with this paper collection. So I was super excited about that. All right, so we're just going to make sure that's dry. And then I am going to make sure. Alright, and with any box, this should just fold over like that. So we're going to just put a little bit of glue on the tab. Same thing that we did for the lid part. We're going to just match that up, which is basically any box die you're going to do that. Let that dry for a minute. I don't know what's wrong with the glue, but it's not. Got to clean out the tip, I think. Alright. So there that is. Alright, so now we are ready to put it on the bottom part. So now you have to be really careful because make sure you have the part that is on the outside for this, and then this goes on the inside after you do your tabs. So it's just not at like a 1/16 of an inch all the way around off. So you want to make sure that you have the actual top part, okay? And put the other part aside because that's for the inside. Again, we're going to do the same thing here that we did. I'm going to fold all these over just because it's easier, like that. Okay. This part I found a little bit more difficult than the lid because the lid is skinnier, and this part is, it's about, I think, 2 inches, so, or maybe not even 2 inches. Yeah, it's 1 3/4, the box part, the actual box part, and then the lid is only like 1 inch. So, this was a little bit more difficult to put together the way I did it, but it can be done. Alright, so we are going to just put a little bit glue, and this first piece I'm just going to line up like this. Hold that there for a minute. Sorry, I have glue all over my hands. And then I'm just going to carefully flip the box over like this and press my tab down. And again, this paper is really slippery, so I actually had a hard time with this. But if you flip it over like this and then you line it up corner to corner, and then just hold the tab down and let the glue kind of dry, it's a little bit easier that way. Okay. Because I did find that the paper's a little slick, which is okay on the one side, because the other side is like a linen finish. Alright, so now I'm just going to hold that side in place and lift up my tab, put a little bit of glue, and then hold that down. Again, making sure that we are right on the edge. There's probably an easier way to do this, but trust me, I struggled with this last night, just trying to get it to stay put. Just like that. And sorry, my head's in the way. I gotta be able to kind of see on the inside. Alright. Then I'm going to do the next one. Just kind of pressing it back and forth. Okay, now I'm going to go glue the rest of them, and then I will be right back. Okay, so now I'm just going to take and burnish all the tabs, make sure they're good and secure, get out any of the dry glue that I left behind, so I don't have any little press that around the bottom. Just make sure that I got all the glue cleaned up around the edges. Okay, and there's our bottom. So the lid's gonna fit just like that over the box. I love these Octagon boxes. I think they're absolutely gorgeous. So anyway, all right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this part around the inside, making sure my linen part is up on the paper, so I think that's this. So I'm just gonna put some glue on here. I'm kind of being generous with the glue because I really want to make sure that it adheres to the bottom of the box. Alright, so now I'm just going to kind of bend that so I can get it in there without getting glue everywhere. Alright, there is the bottom. So I'm just going to make sure that I have the same little, 1/16 of an inch all the way around. And we're covering our tabs, which we are. So we're just going to push that down. Make sure we get a good adherence. And again, this glue dries clear, so I'm not too worried about if there's a little bit of glue peeking up around the sides, because it is going to dry clear and you're not going to see that, but I do want to make sure that it sticks down. So I'm just going to burnish that again around the edges, and it makes for a pretty sturdy box, putting that additional part on the inside of both the lid and the box. So, and again, this paper is pretty sturdy itself, so I'm not too worried about that. Okay, so there's the box, and that's how you put that together. So now I'm going to just simply decorate the box. I've got my hot glue gun on, I've got my pearls for the side, I've got my flowers that I'm going to use. These are some flowers that I got in a swap, and this flower here, this purple flower, I'm going to be actually buying more of this type of flower. It's you can buy these on ASC Craft Supplies, which I'm on the design team for them, and I am going to put a link below to their shop. But these flowers are just amazing. I love them. They're better than 49 Market, and I don't remember the name, but of the flower company, because these are new on ASC Craft Supply, but I will definitely put a link below for you so you can go check them out. I think there's 3 or 4 different sizes, so there's like a really tiny one, which I'm totally in love with, and then all the way up to this big one, so I'm going to use those. And then these are 49 Market, these 3 here. So these are from one of my design team hauls, and I'm going to be using that on the box, and it's the same flower set that I used here. And I've got this crystal stickles. I'm going to be using that. I've got my little sign, and I've got some, these are just the adhesive diamond wrap from Dollar Tree, so I'm going to be using those. Okay, so all I did was on the sides here of the box, I found that 4 of these will fit without interfering with how the lid sits on the box. So what I did was I just took this and just took it off a little bit like that, and then I just started working it around the box. So here I'm just going to put it on the side right next to that score line like that, and then I'm going to snip that, and I'm going to do that all the way around the box, okay? And then I'll be right back. So now I've got all of my little diamond wraps on the side, so I'm just going to make sure those are good and pressed, and then I just used the leftover part. If there was one left over, I was going to do like I did here, and I'm just going to put 3 in the corner there. So I'm going to snip this off and take this give a little bling to my little sign. Alright, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to go around the edge of the top of the box. Really super simple. I'm going to start at the top here. Actually, I'm going to start on the side because I'll be covering that, so if I make a mistake, it won't matter. So I just went around the edges and I just bent it because it has that little bit of play in it. That's what I like about the diamond wrap. You don't have to cut it just to go around the octagon. So just like that. And it sticks pretty well, so it's got some really good adhesive on it. Okay, just gonna go around and it's okay if you run out because this stuff is the way it's set up. You can start a new one and you can barely tell that that you started a new one. So I'm just going to take this and just kind of put it right there. Start, go around the edge. And I'm going to cut it right there, so there. Just make sure that's good and adhered. And we are done with the bling. Alright, so that is the top of my box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some foam tape on this. And just let it pop up a little bit on the box. Not a lot, but that's why I like this thin foam tape, because I can make it as tall, or, you know, it's pretty skinny. I think it's like a 1/16 of an inch wide, but this is my favorite foam tape. My husband works for 3M, so that's where I get that from. And I'm not going to even tell you how much because it would just make you sick to know how cheap that is. Alright, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, get my trash out of here first. Show you a little trick. Instead of, I know a lot of people cut off the stems on their flowers, but I have learned from Crystal at ASC Designs that you don't have to do that. So I'm going to do, first I'm going to take my lid, okay, and I'm going to take Distressed Ink Wilted Violet, and I'm just going to go around, just around the edge like that, just to kind of cover the cut score from the SVG file. The score line, you can kind of see it. So I don't really like that because it, in order to score it, it cuts it, which I think there's a way to not do that, but I don't know how. I don't think my machine does that. I don't think I have a score blade per se. So the score on this just means, and I'm going to go, it cuts so that you can fold it. So I'm just going to go around the sides on all this little score marks, kind of cover that white space. And then it also gives it that, you know, that distressed look, which I really like. Okay. And then I'm just going to go and give it a little violet around the edges. That way, if there's any white space, you know, white on your paper, especially this cardstock, because it has a white center to the cardstock, so when you cut it, you can see that. So I just kind of go around and distress the edges. also this paper has like a white core that you can see, so I just cover that up. Alrighty, so there's that. So that's all distressed now. Awesome. I love these boxes. They're so pretty. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our flowers, and this is a tool that I have for making jump rings from my jewelry days, and you can use anything that's, you know, small, large, however you want your spirals to be, but this seems to be the perfect size. So instead of cutting this stem off, I am going to make spirals. So just wrap it around. You can use dowel rods, pencils, whatever you have. I like this metal piece because it actually makes like the perfect spiral. Alright, and then I'm just going to kind of pull that out a little bit. That's one of them. And then here's the other one. And again, I'm just going to wrap that around my little rod. And I love this, that I learned this from Crystal with ASC Craft Supplies, because it's cool looking, and then you don't waste that stem on the flower. So I'm just gonna, let's see, yep, fold that up, and then I'm gonna take that off, and there is my other spiral. Just pull that out, make it a little bit longer. It's gonna go like right here. And now I'm going to start hot gluing stuff in place. This one is going to go right here, just like that. Take my little hot glue strings off. And there's also a trick for hot glue strings that I found when I was doing art. So let's see, this one, I don't know. Yep. So I'm just going to put some glue on the back, kind of be generous with it. And don't forget, you're going to have to hold it down, because when it's thick like that, it tends to take a little bit longer to dry. So just going to hold that down in the corner. Okay. I'm going to put this one right here. Yep. Kind of underneath that one. Hold that leaf down like that. And then I wanted to show you this trick. So when you're cutting your flowers and you're cutting them down to the center, what I do is I cut like 1/8 of an inch, and then I take my tweezers and I bend it, and that keeps the flower from not coming apart from the green part, unless you want that green part off of there. But some flowers are actually held together like that, so you have to be really careful when you do cut the stem of the flower, because sometimes the flowers will fall apart. But if you take that stem and you just fold it over like I did on these, because these will fall apart, I know for sure, then it won't fall apart. So just a little tip. Just going to hold that down, let that kind of set. Alright, and then I'm going to put my pink flowers on, which I have to be careful because I've actually burnt my finger trying to put these on things. Alright, so that's purple. Get your colors right, Tammy. Alright, so there's that one, and then I'm going to put one more. Get rid of my little strings. did notice the thicker the glue is, the longer it takes to like harden, but it's okay. Just taking the excess off right now. Gonna let that do its thing. Okay, so we've got the flowers on, and now we're gonna put the pearls on the side. Okay, that's what we have so far, and now I'm going to just take these little pearls. I got these in a swap, and I absolutely love them because of the different sizes. But I'm going to put pearls on the sides of the box, right here. And I'm using the middle size ones. Oops. I got pearls flying. Time with that pearl. Alright, so we're going to stick that there. Don't worry about the glue showing because it does dry clear, so you're not going to really see it. My glue's a little watery today. I don't know why. Put that right there. And we're just going to go all the way around the box. And these these little acrylic dots have glue on them, but I don't feel like they really stick that well, so I want to make sure that they don't come off the box. Sometimes I just remove the glue part and just stick it on there with glue. Okay, and I got a bunch of glue strings. And I debated on putting lace around the edges, but I felt like that really takes away from the paper. Sometimes you just want the paper to speak for itself, and this butterfly paper is gorgeous, so I didn't want to cover it up. And I just love this paper, so I tend to be more simple-minded when it comes to my crafts. And I don't have a big, huge lace stash like some people love lace. I don't have a big stash. I love lace, but I don't have a big stash. So I just kind of simple and elegant is what I tend to like. Alright, so if there is a lot of glue and it's bothering you, I just take my tweezers and I scrape it off before it fully dries. Just like that. My glue's kind of watery today and I don't know why. Alright, so there's that. Okay, so we've got the pearls on, they're going to dry, and then I just take my stickles, last step, and I'm going to kind of move that out of the way. I'm going to put stickles on the heart. And it's really, this crystal one is really pretty when it dries. Alright, so got a little bit there, clean that up. And then the other thing I did was on the little stamens and the flowers, I just kind of took my stickles and just covered each one with some stickles. Give it some more sparkle because you can never have too much sparkle. Alright, like that, and then the little flowers here. Just going to put some stickles on those stamens, just like that. Alright, and then our box is done. So, that is my box. Here's my first one. So when it dries, the stickle dries, it'll look like this. I'll probably put some more on these little stamens here, just because they don't have enough. And then I'll just let those dry. Okay, so that is my tutorial for this beautiful box. And this paper collection, I am so in love with it. I love the darker paper collections. I like some of the bright ones, but the darker ones are just really more my preference. So I think they're elegant and they're pretty, and they just make projects beautiful. So anyway, so that's my tutorial, and I hope you guys try this box. It's called the Octagon box. I will leave a link for it below in the description box, so look for that. I'll also leave a link for the Jennifer Maker box purse that has this particular mom part on it, so you can cut that out if you want to use it on the box. And then I'll leave a link for AS Craft Supplies for all the flowers that I used on the project. Okay, and then again, that paper you can get at Michael's in the Hot Buy section if they still have it. This was the only paper pad I could find because it was hidden. So somebody was probably going to come back and get it, but I found it. So I'm super happy about that. But anyway, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you can subscribe to my channel, that would be greatly appreciated. And if you hit the little bell icon to the right, that'll notify you when I do upload a new video. So anyway, I hope everyone has a blessed day today, the rest of the day. Stay safe, stay warm, and I will talk to you guys later.